Hey guys, Alzar here, and I'm back with part 3 of my Berserk read-through. Today we have the second part of the Golden Age arc, and before I start the recap, I just want to say how much this arc is making me like Berserk. This arc is the longest so far, and it grabbed my attention like no other. I just can't believe how entertaining it is to read this manga, and not gonna lie, I can't wait to read more. Now, without further ado, let's get to the recap. Last time we ended on a landscape of war. It's been a few years now, and Guts has risen to a captain position in the Hawks. For now, Guts and Casca still don't get along, and the only thing stopping them from arguing forever is their admiration for Griffith. But things are going to change down this road. Because of all Griffith has done in this time skip, we see him getting knighted and gaining the title of Viscount, which makes the entire Hawk group higher up in the royalty rankings. One day, while the Hawks are out in battle, they encounter the super duper demon soldier, whose name is Nosferatu Zod, who almost kills Guts, despite how strong he is and how tough he is, because Guts tried to take him one on one. The whole group tries to fight Zod, but they're all dealt with pretty quickly, and some of them even die. The only thing that stops Zod is the behelit on Griffith's neck, which makes him run away in fear of the God Hand. Assumingly, before he leaves, he tells Guts that if Griffith ever loses his ambition, Guts will die, which is very ominous to say to someone. While Griffith and Guts are both relaxing after their fight with Nosferatu Zod, they are visited by the king and his brother General Julius. During this, we are also introduced to the princess Charlotte. Julius, thinking Griffith is getting too big for his britches, hatches a plan to assassinate Griffith. During the day of the event, the Hawks are guarding the nobles in. A little side thing here, but Corcus says the first thing I think I've ever agreed with in this little panel. So I just had to add that in, let you guys know. But anyway, during the event, Griffith is off with the princess and is hit with a poison-tipped arrow right in the heart. Luckily for Griffith, the behelit around his neck stops the arrow in its track. Griffith thinks that Julius is the one who orchestrated this attempt on his life, so he asks Guts to kill him in secret. In the chaos of the assassination, Guts ends up killing Julius's son, and a lot of guards, but he escapes without his face being seen. Later, after Guts escapes, we see that Griffith and the princess are growing closer and closer. Later on, we see the Hawks fighting in another battle, when Casca is overpowered by the super misogynist Adon the Unkillable. I added that nickname for him, because Casca is a lot more tired because she's on her period during this battle. She needs to be saved by Guts after Adon gets the advantage, and they both fall off a cliff injured. After they huddle together for warmth in the cave they're in under the cliff, Casca tells us, the group, and Guts, her backstory. One day in her poor village, Casca was seen by a noble who tried to bring her to his castle as a maid, and along the way tried to assault her. Later, she's saved by Griffith when the noble tries to assault her, and Griffith gives her the option to either kill the noble or do nothing, and she kills the noble. After that, she asks Griffith to join his band of Hawks, and he lets her, saying she can do what she wants. We see that she truly admires Griffith, and it shaped her life so far. We see later that while helping a kingdom, Griffith decides that the safest way to get funds the quickest was to sell his own body to their king, so they could maximize the funds they could get without losing anybody. And Casca sees this. Guts listens to her, and then they decide to leave the cave there, because they are being hunted by Adon's group. Later on, they're caught by Adon's group, and Guts decides that to save Casca, even if he doesn't want to actually admit that's the reason he makes this decision, he needs to fight every pursuer and let her escape. As she escapes, Casca reunites with the Hawk in the forest, and they race back to Guts just to see, even though he's heavily injured, she somehow beat all of them. After the battle, Guts and Casca reconcile, and Guts reveals that after this journey that they're on, he might end up leaving the Hawk. The king then tells Griffith that they are to capture the city of Doldry, which is seen as impossible, because Griffith even says that he can do it with just the Band of the Hawk. Later on, we see that the kingdom that Adon works for was actually the same kingdom that Griffith sold his body to all that time ago. And that's around the point where I stopped reading. Well, that's it for the recap. So now we're going to get into the discussion part. The first thing I want to talk about is Adon the Unkillable. I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't know how he survived every single encounter he was a part of, but it was low-key crazy. Like, he got cut in the face, like almost like with Gus's insane strength, which cuts through people normally. But he recovered from that after because he pushed them off the cliff, and then he hunts them down. And while Guts is killing everyone, he uses like his secret family technique, and he lives that encounter because he hid in the corpses, which is their secret coward family technique. And even after he comes back after failing his mission, they decide, oh, we're gonna rough you up a bit. You're not gonna go to the dungeon. This guy Adon has insane luck for whatever reason. I think he's more like a comedic relief character, so they're gonna keep him along for a little longer. And honestly, I find it pretty hilarious that he somehow just survives every single part of this elongated battle. Like it's pretty impressive that he can do this. And along with Adon, I want to talk about some of the knight groups because there's like a lot of like separate little subdivision of knights, and I find it pretty interesting. There's like what the purple rhino knight group, and like they're about to be introduced in this next arc. Next time I read, there's what the white tiger I think was the group that Griffiths the Band of the Hawks work with, and then there's a group that Adon was a part of, which actually slipped my mind hilariously enough. But like they all have like these tough names, and it kind of like it helps build the world, which I enjoy quite a bit. The next thing I want to talk about is the lengths Griffith goes to get like to attain some of his goals, and how like unremorseful he is sometimes. Like the first thing we see was, I mean, chronologically, we see that Griffith decided that like he wasn't like 110% sure that Joyce was the one trying to assassinate him, but like he used his own skills to like get information, and he's like, yeah, he's probably the one who did it. So Guts, I want you to kill him. I want you to assassinate him now. And Guts is like, sure, man, why not? Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And then Guts ends up killing him, and then on accident killing the kid, and then killing a bunch of guards. And Griffith shows like no remorse for nothing. He's just like, yep, the job is done. He smiled too. He smiled pretty evilly. Which, knowing how evil he is now, this is it's kind of weird to see. And even like when he got the news, I I find it hard to tell if he's like actually interested in the princess, or if he's like just getting to know her and maybe will like be using her, because it's it's weird. I don't know if he's genuine or not, because he's like lighthearted with Guts, and I think that's like his real self. But all that time with the princess, he's like just talking like a philosopher, like she says. And I don't know if this is like his real self, or if he's just like manipulating her a little bit. Because we can see that he'll do whatever it takes to get his goals done the fastest and the most optimized. Because the way he needed to get that money, and he decided that the best way for me to get money is to sell my own body, is crazy. And he didn't think about it too. He just decided, hey, if this is the way to get money, this is what I have to do, and that's what I need for my goals. It's honestly like pretty impressive how like he doesn't even think about some of these decisions. He'll just do it. The last thing I want to go to is the dark places I think this arc might turn to, because I know that this is Guts says this is his last thing he's gonna do with the Hawk. And I don't know what might happen at the end of this arc, but we see what Griffith turns into. We see what happens to Guts. And we know that it has something to do with the Bahalit. And the guy said if Griffith loses his ambition, something horrible might happen. So I think with the culmination of all the things we know, just like how they're fighting the kingdom that he sold his body to originally. We know that he eventually becomes part of the God Hand, and something insane has to happen for that to happen. I think this arc might end in like a pretty, not like dark. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be dark, but like I don't know how insane this ending of this arc might be, because this is a very widely talked about arc in general. So I don't think what came up already is enough to make it as widely known as the Golden Age arc is. So I'm just predicting here that it probably is going to be pretty insane. Well, that's all I have for this video today, guys. If you guys want more, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below what your favorite part of this arc is so far, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.